I hope you're doing well whenever and wherever it is in the world that you're watching this. In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about anger and how the Bible views it. Now, I want to preface this by saying I know good and well, anger is something that we all deal with. It's an emotion we all have. It's something that is oftentimes inescapable. We don't always know where it comes from, but we do know that it is something that we all deal with. And there's plenty of ways of dealing with it and looking at it, but I'd like to take it to the Bible, starting in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. He says here, "Be ye angry and sin not, let not the sun go down upon your wrath." Dear friend, it is possible to be angry, but it is also possible to be angry and not sin. He says in the latter part of that verse, "Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." There's two interpretations of that. The first one is saying, like the son said, at the end of the day, don't go to bed with a grudge. And that makes sense. The other one is having death as the sunset and saying don't carry anger with you throughout all of your life. And I feel like both of those is a good way of looking at that verse, and they're both equally as helpful. Don't carry anger with you. As much as you can help it, don't carry it with you. Why? Because it's a toxic thing. It's going to eat at you. It's going to destroy you, the people around you. Again, anger is something that we all deal with, but we need to be careful not to let it go out of control. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 9, the writer says, "Be not hasty in your spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools." Again, do not be quick to anger. How do we go about doing that? Well, it helps if we're quick to listen and we're slow to speak. That's a big help in it. But Proverbs chapter 14, verse 17 says this, "He who is soon angry will deal foolishly." He who is soon angry will deal foolishly. Dear friend, anger is bad fuel. Anger is often short-sighted, and most of the time it just makes matters a whole lot worse. And before we close, I'd like to share with you a quote, Martin Luther King Jr., what he said in 1967. He said, "Hate is too great a burden to bear." If anyone had the right to be angry, I'd say it was him. But he says, hate is too great a burden to bear. Now Seneca, one of the Greek philosophers on anger, says this, "There is no more stupefying thing than anger." He says, "Nothing more bent on its own strength." He says, "If successful, nothing more arrogant. If foiled, nothing more insane." He says, "Since it is not driven back by weariness, not even in defeat." He says, "When fortune removes its adversary, it turns its teeth on itself." Dear friend, when you have nothing to be angry about, yet you still carry it with you, your anger will eventually start eating at you. Will eventually start eating at you. And I want to encourage you, try as best you can, control your anger.